welcome to my studio. I hope you're good. Today I thought it would be fun to turn famous paintings into picture book stuff. And what I mean by that is I'm not going to redraw the famous paintings, or am I? No, I don't think so. I'm going to find a way to incorporate them into my artwork. Basically, I'm going to put famous paintings into a picture book kind of scenario thing. What's this? So basically, I'm going to get some famous paintings and find a way to incorporate them into my picture book style artwork. I'm really hoping I can do a couple of these. Like, I'd love to say I'll be able to do 3, but I definitely get very involved in the work. So yeah, I know a few people who have definitely worked with famous paintings before in one way or another. I don't think this has been done before, but what I'll do is I'll have another look round and I will pop links to those videos down below. So let's go to Google and find some famous paintings. For the record, I do actually know a few famous paintings, but I kind of want to see what the world saw as the most famous painting. So I searched for them and picked 2 that I really like the colour palettes of. These are the ones I've picked, and I absolutely love the Starry Night Sky. Again, I know a few people have successfully... I know there are a few people who have successfully attempted the Starry Night Sky and they look amazing. So I will link them down below as well. There'll be a few links today. Definitely check those out after this video. And yeah, let's get sketching. So this first one was obvious. I had to draw a person laying on the floor drawing because this is what I did as a child. And for the second one, I really wanted to focus on the art gallery aspect and going to an art gallery and maybe doing some workshops there and drawing different things. I have to say, I really enjoy the idea of doing a landscape and a portrait. And where we're working with an existing piece of artwork, it was actually so nice to have a colour palette that we had to work with. Of course, we're going to introduce our own colours that emphasise the colours in the painting. But we do really want the painting to stand out and be the star of the show. Because that's actually the whole point of this video. So now we've got our sketches, I think we should just get colouring. And my favourite one is definitely the child laying on the floor. I think this is just because it really reminds me of going to the galleries when I was younger. I mean, did you ever go on a school trip to a gallery? Let me know in the comments below. We went to the Tate Modern here in the UK. It was in London, it still is in London, but it's quite a long way from my house actually. But I remember laying on the floor, being that child, drawing and being inspired by the art around me. So yeah, what's your favourite gallery? Definitely pop it in the comments. So now we've got our sketches. I need my trusty iPad and my Apple Pencil. Let's do it, let's get colouring. So, as always, I've started with the character first. Can't help it. But it does really help that we've done the colour rough because now we know how she's going to look on top of the background. Even though it's not coloured properly, it's coloured enough so we know that she is going to stand out. And I have to say, I am absolutely loving this pop of red that I've put in the image. Obviously, there's no red in the Vermeer's Girl with a Pearl Earring. But the fact that we've used it, it does kind of bring the image all together and makes your eye move around the image. I have to say, I absolutely love adding pockets to characters because, yeah, I'm that girl that likes to have dresses with pockets, I think. They're awesome. So any opportunity, I will definitely add them. And now I've said that, go back and look at some of my artwork or other previous videos and you'll see what I mean. And I do think, especially with children's illustration, that it is these little touches because children absolutely love the little things that they can find and explore. And the more you look at an image, the more you see. So that is what I try to do. I know there are some incredible books where less is more, But as I have said before, that's not really my thing. And honestly, as a full-time illustrator, it can work in both ways. There is space in the market for everyone. When it came to working on the floor, as you can tell by my colour ruff, I couldn't quite decide whether to put the colour on the floor or the colour on the wall, because I did want to keep some of the image white just to give it a good balance, really. You can see that I did decide to go with the colour on the floor, even though it's grey. I really like to add lots of different colours into my colours, sort of build them up a bit and layer them. Even though we're not using traditional style, this is what I would do in traditional style. It's what I've done with paints, and I would always scribble the pencil on top, and that is exactly the way that I work digitally. Even though obviously one's digital and one's traditional, it is still the same sort of working method, and I do hope to do a video on this soon. So let me know if you'd like to see that. So here on the photo frame is a clear example. Obviously the photo frame is mostly gold, but I do like to put other colours from elsewhere in the image within it. So I've got the blues, the yellow and like the oranges, and obviously some stand out more than others. But for me, I think this brings the image together as a whole, and I personally like the effect. It's just kind of what I do, and I've been doing for years. And then it's time for me to draw the plant pot, because apparently there's always a plant at an art gallery. I have no idea why I put this plant there, but it looked really empty without it, and I really wanted to balance the image out. And why not a plant? I swear there are plants in art galleries. I mean, I'm going to have to look now, aren't I? So after the blue plant, yeah, because that makes sense, it's time for me to draw all the art materials on the floor, because the whole idea for this illustration is that she's gone to an art gallery and she's doing artwork based on the picture that she likes the most, which happens to be this one. It's quite handy, really. Oh, and my apologies for the, what is it called? The system dock or something on my iPad anyway that keeps popping up. Basically, because I have managed to do, and I've done this in quite a few videos, is do the work but not actually screen record it. I am now paranoid that I'm never recording anything. And what painting would be complete in an art gallery anyway, and in general, without a title? And here I have chosen to just put the name of the painter. because A Girl with a Pearl Earring is actually quite a long title to fit in the little box that I drew. I was definitely one of those children that would start writing something like a really long word and run out of room on the edge of the page, so the last part of the word would be completely squished up, and I really hope there's other people out there that are that child as well. So that is my first illustration done, and now we're on to the second one, and I kind of started like I do all of my illustrations with the character again, and I was really trying to push the perspective on a character laying down, but we are looking at her face on, and this was actually really hard, especially when choosing a hairstyle. I mean, I definitely didn't anticipate that, but I am actually happy with how it turned out, considering this is definitely a perspective that I don't draw that much. And yeah, just having to distort the shape of her and what you can see, and especially in this case what you can't. Like, you can't even see her body, but you know it's there, or at least I hope you do. And it's also about now that I did actually bring up the Starry Night image, because I have realised that I'm going to have to draw it upside down and with a distorted perspective. So yeah, really planned this one out well, didn't I? So definitely a tip on how to make sidewalks, pathways, or basically cement look a lot more interesting than it does is to add lots of different colours. This is kind of what I do on the majority of what I draw, but for something like this I would go the extra mile, so to speak. I really do push the colours, as you can see here, and I really make sure it doesn't look like one flat colour, because all that interest really does keep it from looking a bit boring really. But if you do go and look at things a lot closer, you will see that loads of colours do make up one colour, so it is a very nice technique, and especially in books and illustration and art, you can actually draw kind of what you like. Because this image on the surface is quite simple, even though this is taking me quite a long time, I did want to add a bit more interest, and for me it's definitely the little grasses and flowers that sometimes grow between those little gaps. I mean, I really like how it just breaks up a bit of that grey colour and all the other tones and really brings the image together and kind of makes your eye look all around instead of just in one place. Can you also tell that I'm quite afraid to draw this Starry Night upside down? So I'm literally doing every single little detail that I can to finish off the rest of the image. I mean, I'm even putting chalk smudges on her like face and arms because let's face it, that is what kids do. But just so I can get out of drawing the Starry Night. So I will actually have to draw that in a moment. When I couldn't find anything else to draw or finish off in this illustration, it was time for me to tackle this upside down Starry Night. And to do that, I mean, there is a bit of artistic license because she's a kid drawing it out of chalk. I mean, it's not going to be perfect. As long as you can tell what she's drawing, I'm happy, and it is an interpretation after all. The other image, obviously, we are using the actual painting because she's at an art gallery. This is what you would see. But this one, yes, she's drawing, she's having fun, she's just being herself and using the original artwork as more of a guideline. So to do that, I've roughly outlined the Starry Night image really and focused on the main blocks of colour, and then I'm just going to build it up from there with lots of little paint strokes and just hopefully it'll look okay. We will see. Once the Starry Night was more or less done and I had kind of got everything into their recognisable places, or at least I think I have. It's upside down, who knows at this point. But then I really went in and added more colour and different tones of the chalks. And to do this, I also used a different artist brush just to give me that round edges that you would get with a chalk, because I really like using the brush that the edges kind of feather out. But for this, I really did want to make that distinct mark because it is all about the mark making. Thank you so much for watching. I absolutely love what we came up with today, and I'm really glad we decided to do two. So we've got the landscape and the portrait, just showing you different ways you can incorporate artwork into artwork. Yeah. Anyway, so if maybe you ever want to become a picture book illustrator, it might be a good idea to start looking at existing images already and to see how you would use the colour palette and just get inspired by them. And this is why we visit art galleries when we're younger, I suppose. So yeah, it definitely worked for me. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you again in the next video. Bye. I'm off to book an art trip now to a gallery. That's going to be fun.